previously on the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. He could to defeat The Undertaker. Let's go to Sting versus Triple H. Sting just wrestled this past week on Dynamite. Looked great because, you know, he's fucking Sting. But his match versus Triple H wasn't even a match. It was about the moment. What moment? The arrival of DX, the arrival of the NWO. DX helping Triple H and the NWO helping Sting. That's supposed to be important. But why would the NWO help Sting? They're enemies. They are blood enemies, rivals. But it was meant to finally get DX and the NWO in the ring with each other for the first time ever. That was supposed to be the moment, but the moment didn't matter because you made Sting not matter. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, April 1st, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. And yes, it is that day. It is upon us, Wrestlemania. Listen, I'm not going to be before you very long today, but first things first, as always, you know you can check me out on the socials. Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube. Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram and the 215 on Twitter. And today's show, well, we're going to take a look at why WrestleMania shows are necessary. The end of the road. Why they must happen. All right, we're going to just take a little deep dive into that. Also, check out the YouTube channel because I have the WrestleMania preview and predictions up. And on Monday, the Patreon will be going live this coming Monday. But for now, you all know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. So listen, I won't be before you very long. Let's just dive right into the news. Ronda Rousey has some things to say about her feud with Liv Morgan, and it's nothing against Liv. She just dragged creative because, you know, well, they got into the way. I could tell that Ronda Liv wanted to do something extreme, wanted to go all out. Ronda wanted to use thumbtacks, but creative got into the way. Thinking that they knew was best, people that have never taken a hip tossed or been in the ring. And I agree with Ronda. I'm not a Ronda hater, and I wish that her and Liv would have gotten the freedom to do what they wanted to do. Rampage this past week brought in, what did it bring in? About 355,000 viewers. With they don't have the demos here in front of me, but it's a little bit down from last week, but it's, you know, we're building. We got a long way to go towards double or nothing. Carmella is experiencing some kind of issue because, well, as you can watch on Seen on TV, she's been replaced. She's not Chelsea Green's partner. She's not wrestling at WrestleMania, so something is up. And even though Carmella was with Corey Graves and they were doing the reveal for the stage, she's suffering from an undisclosed issue. We don't know what it, well, we just don't know what it is. Backlash in Puerto Rico is sold out, and I think with this you're going to start seeing a lot more shows slowly, but more shows start to be featured outside of the United States. They already got Blood Money. They had Clash of the Castle last year. Money in the Bank is taking place in the United Kingdom. Backlash is taking place in Puerto Rico. Expect more international shows. Raw this past week, the go-home show for WrestleMania, did 1.8 million viewers with a 0.53 and an 18 to 49 demo. That is up from the previous week in the viewership, but down in the demographic. Matt Jackson is injured. I think he has a messed up bicep, I believe. We don't know how long he's going to be out, but it's going to be for a very, a significant amount of time. Sticking with injuries, Mickie James says she's good. She had a broken rib a couple of weeks ago. She's getting healed up. She won't be out for much longer, but she will be wrestling and defending her championship soon. So about 6 to 8 weeks from where she got injured. So Mickie should be back in due time. Kofi Kingston gives us a positive update on his injury. He had ankle surgery. Stitches are off of his body, and he is healing up. Man, we're just dealing with a bunch of injuries. Dynamite this past week, viewership dropped below 900,000. That's not bad. It did 833,000 with a 0.28 in the 18 to 49 demographic. That's down. Last week they did 954,000 with a 0.33 in the 18 to 49 demo. So they're fluctuating. They're going up and down. Up and down. We have an update on the Honor Club subscriber count. Right now they're up at about 15,000 subscribers, which is good. Let's get that to 25 and then 30. Hope we can get to about 50,000 subscribers, because Ring of Honor, they're putting on some quality shows. The former Naomi, Trinity Starr, was backstage at Supercard of Honor. Who could she have been visiting? She was watching the Athena versus Yuka Sakazaki match up close. She's just not going to be backstage to be backstage. Dante Martin really hurt his ankle at Supercard last night. He will be out for an undisclosed amount of time. So now Dante's out. Darius has dealt with a lot of injuries. It's tough. And also, if you watch Supercard, Nigel McGuinness came back for one night to do commentary. He is the longest reigning television champion in Ring of Honor's history. So we'll see what's next. Will he be making any more appearances on commentary? But he added to Caprice and Riccaboni. It was a good 3-man booth. But that is the news, and we shall be right back. Now, I have essentially a lot of wrestling to cover, so forgive me if it sounds like I'm flying through, but I want to just get everything to. So we're going to start off with Monday Night Raw. We had our go home show for WrestleMania, and we opened up with Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish. Just kind of getting us amped, getting us ready for WrestleMania. The Damage Control comes out, and Becky's like, she's done. She's done with them. Bayley is saying that, she's tired of Becky and Lita and Trish in the past, and they're irrelevant. Becky's like, what's going on? I thought we were finished with this. And she runs them down, talks about all he's been doing is losing and losing and losing. And since IYO and Dakota have teamed up with Bayley, they've been losing and losing and losing. It was some fire. It was some fire in this promo. We had our match. Becky Lynch defeated IYO SKY. I'm kind of upset they kind of gave us this match, because this could be a way bigger match, but it was really good. Becky won. Seth Rollins defeated Ali. This was set up for a backstage segment that they had. I wish it was longer. These dudes can get 20-30 minutes and just steal any show, any card that they're on. After the match, Seth says he will ruin Logan Paul's birthday. Omos gets the better of Brock Lesnar during their weigh-in. The faces of the men's tag team showcase. Braun, Ricochet, and the Street Profits defeat the Heels, the team of the Alpha Academy, and the Viking Raiders. Maxine of the Maximum Models was watching backstage. Theory had an empty arena promo, kind of hyping himself up and hyping up his match against Cena, which is opening the show night one. And Theory's pretty much been carrying this program since Cena's only appearance. You know what I mean? Sonya and Chelsea defeated Candice and Mia to qualify for the WrestleMania Showcase. Dominic says Eddie Guerrero is his real father. Ray then defeats Damian Priest by DQ after Dom gets involved, causes the DQ. Gunther defeats Dolph Ziggler, and Cody Rhodes defeats Solo Sikoa, giving him his first pinfall loss on the main roster. Over on Dynamite, we got our slow build towards Double or Nothing. As you know, Double or Nothing is at the end of May, I believe. But Jungle Boy defeats Matt Hardy. MJF comes out and he pumps up Jungle Boy, but says, you know, you're a nice guy. And nice guys finish last. Then he cuts him deep. He brings in Anna Jay, and I don't, you know, they don't need to bring in MJ. You know, MJF always has to go low. He didn't need, they didn't need to do that this time. But you know, Jungle Boy has his rebuttal, and he's coming for the World Championship too. So we are building towards the 4-pillar championship match at Double or Nothing. Jungle Boy has some words for him and then runs off MJF. Don Callis gaslights Kenny. He talks about last week. You know how last week this Dynamite ended, and he says so apologize to Hangman. He does, but then gets attacked by the BCC, and Don gets injured, hits his head on, I believe, like a lighting rig, cuts his skull pretty deep. We had a nice little segment with Acclaimed and Billy Gunn with 2.0. Just, you know, they're getting wined and dined, and the Acclaim will give 2.0 their answer next week. The BCC squashes Dalton Castle and the boys. Kenny Omega retains the IWGP United States Championship over Jeff Cobb. The BCC then attack. Bryan Danielson returns to make the save, but Swerve, he continues the attack, and all 4 members of the BCC are now heels. Yeah, these dudes are just running roughshod over everybody. FTR and the Guns, they hype their tag team title match in a video segment, and the Guns have gotten so much better over time. It's you can see the improvement that they've had. Orange Cassidy retained the International Championship over the Butcher. Jade and Smart Mark threaten Taya with a lawsuit. Ruby Soho defeats Willow Nightingale, and here's what I hate. Ruby was out there with Saraya, with Tony. Willow was by herself. The Outcasts attack Willow after the match, and here comes Rio and Sky Blue to make the save. Numbers game doesn't work, and then Jamie Hayter comes out to run them away. But why wasn't Rio and Sky Blue with Willow? I don't get this. This is so stupid. In our main event segment, Adam Cole defeats Daniel Garcia in his return match. Jericho comes out to console Daniel Garcia, bring him to the back, but he stops momentarily and takes a quick pause. So it looks like we're going to get Jericho versus Adam Cole probably at Double or Nothing. Over on Impact, we kind of just had a smaller show. We had our Multiverse United Go Home show. I'm not going to really recap that. It was just a good show. But some things we did get on Impact, we had a replay of Tanahashi versus Lance Archer from Resurgence 2021. Jody Threat vignette, who will be debuting in Impact Wrestling, and Miyu Yamashita defeated Killer Kelly in her debut match, and that was really good. So it was solid. Over on Ring of Honor, we had our go home show for Supercard of Honor. Aussie Open defeated Tony Nese and Ari Daivari. Miyu Yamashita defeated Shazzy McKenzie. The Embassy had a squash match. AR Fox and Metalik defeats the Infantry. Athena retains the Ring of Honor Women's Championship over Emi Sakura. The winner of the match will go on to Supercard to face Yuka Sakazaki. The heels of the Reach for the Sky ladder match defeat the faces. So that would be Jalisco Rouge of the Hill team. The Kingdom defeated the Lucha Brothers and Top Flight. Samoa Joe is annoyed with Mark Briscoe. Even though he respects Mark Briscoe, the fact that you keep saying the TV championship is your destiny and you're just assuming you're going to win, you're overlooking me. I don't like that. Will Yuta retains the Pure Championship against Leon Ruffin, but then Shibata comes out and confronts him. No words, just confronts Wheeler Yuta. El Hijo del Vikingo defeated Blake Christian. And in the main event, Eddie Kingston defeated Christopher Daniels. This was just a match out of respect, because you know Eddie Kingston respects pretty much everybody, especially Ring of Honor people. He and Claudio have hers, and Eddie explains why he wants Claudio. So there you go. Supercard Honor results from 0 Hour. Jeff Cobb defeated Tracy Williams. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Willie Mack. Willow Nightingale defeated Miranda Elise. And Stu Grayson defeated Slim J. From the main card, El Hijo del Vikingo defeats Kommander, retaining the AAA Mega Championship. The Embassy defeats AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Metal League, retaining the Ring of Honor 6-Man Tag Championships. Athena defeats Yuka Sakazaki, retaining the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. Samoa Joe defeats Mark Briscoe, retaining the Ring of Honor TV Championship. This was the shocker. This was probably the shocker of the night. Hiroshi Tanahashi defeats Daniel Garcia. The Lucha Brothers wins the Reach for the Sky ladder match, becoming the new Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Katsuyori Shibata defeats Wheeler Yuta to become the new Pure Champion. He just schooled Wheeler Yuta. It was like Yuta saw that he was outmatched, and everything he tried to do was tactics that he's been going off using for months just haven't worked, and Shibata just schooled him. And in the main event, Claudio Castagnoli retains the Ring of Honor Championship over Eddie Kingston. This was the other shocker of the night. He and Wheeler Yuta prepare to attack Eddie Kingston until Shibata comes up to back up Eddie. They leave, and Eddie gets on the mic and, you know, does Eddie things, and it's great. And he's not done with Claudio. He wants the championship. Over on SmackDown, we had our WrestleMania Go Home show. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Usos have words one more time before their tag team match at WrestleMania. We just cleared the air, you know what I mean? Ricochet defeats Eric Rowan, Montez Ford, and Chad Gable in a show, you know, in the preview of the showcase match. Bobby Lashley wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and this was all about big meaty men slapping man meat. Bobby Lashley, Karrion Kross, Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed. This was Riddick Moss. This was all about them. I wouldn't be shocked if Lashley ends up getting a match at WrestleMania, maybe him versus Karrion Kross. Raquel defeats Shayna, Natalya, and Sonya in another showcase preview match. This match didn't get as much time as the men, because of course not. Rey Mysterio reforms the new, brings back the LWO with Legado del Fantasma. Oh, I was so hyped for this. Oh my God, LWO is back, baby. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre defeats the Imperium, and in the main event segment, Cody and Roman have some words. It was a nice little solid way to end the show. Rampage, we're covering two shows. We're covering last Saturday's show and last night's show. So from last Saturday, Powerhouse Hobbs retains the TNT Championship over Penta, and Ray comes out with the hammer to run him off. Juice Robinson he shirks off Ricky, so we're setting up for their match in New York. Brody King defeats Jake Hager, and Anna Jay took out Julia Hart. Taya Valkyrie squashes Layla Gray, and the Acclaim defeated the Kingdom. And then in this week's show, Sammy Guevara defeated Konosuke Takeshita, and I don't like Takeshita loss, but we're also building up the pillars for the World Championship match, so I get why Sammy won. The Best Friends defeats the Kings of the Black Throne in a rare DQ in AEW, a rare DQ. Malachi Black beats up Orange Cassidy, and look like this feud is just getting started. Taya Valkyrie defeats Marina Shafir. Jade sends the legal processor to the ring to serve that cease and desist, and well, the legal processor got sent on the road to Valhalla. Yeah, Anna Jay threatens to choke out Julia Hart, and Juice Robinson defeats Action Andretti in the main event. Our matches of the week from Raw: Becky Lynch versus IYO SKY. I want more from them. I want more from IYO. From Dynamite, Kenny Omega versus Jeff Cobb for the IWGP United States Championship. From Impact, Miyu Yamashita versus Killer Kelly. From Ring of Honor, Athena versus Emi Sakura for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. Also from Ring of Honor, El Hijo del Vikingo versus Blake Christian. From Supercard of Honor, El Hijo del Vikingo versus Kommander for the AAA Mega Championship. And from Rampage, Sammy Guevara versus Konosuke Takeshita. And our star of the week, it's got to be my man Katsuyori Shibata, our new pure champion. That is the weekend review, and we should be right back. Wrestlemania, the grandest stage of them all, the showcase of the immortals, the show of shows, the greatest spectacle in sports entertainment, the Super Bowl of sports entertainment, the granddaddy of them all. WrestleMania goes by many names, many monikers, many taglines, but we all know when it's WrestleMania season. WrestleMania is here. It is upon us. But even though we've been talking about WrestleMania these last couple of weeks, we've never really discussed why WrestleMania is important. Why WrestleMania is a show that needs to happen. And I thought we'd take a look at it. So, what is WrestleMania? WrestleMania is the end show. It's what the year worth of storylines and storytelling builds up to in a crescendo. You know what I mean? It's the equivalent of, you know, the Super Bowl, the NBA championship, the Stanley Cup. There's no Olympics or World Cup of professional wrestling because everybody has their own. WrestleMania is a thing. It was created by Vince McMahon in when was the first WrestleMania? 1985. 1985, WrestleMania 1, Madison Square Garden. Our main event was Hulk Hogan and Mr. T taking on Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff, and had two special guest referees, Muhammad Ali and Pat Patterson. And throughout the years, WrestleMania has grown and grown and grown to the point where cities now bid for WrestleMania. Cities want WrestleMania in their city. Next year's WrestleMania will be taking place in, well, my home city, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This year's WrestleMania takes place at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. And we're here. We're at the crescendo. We're at the end point, right? We need WrestleMania. And we've had WrestleMania so much that, you know, other wrestling companies have their own. And more often than not, WrestleMania is good. Sometimes it's bad. But the one thing that truly stays the same is WrestleMania finishes the story. So, prime example. Let's go to WrestleMania 38. The main event of night one was to finish the story. Some redemption. Not even redemption, just a reawakening. Stone Cold Steve Austin hadn't wrestled a match in 19 years, with his last match being against The Rock at WrestleMania 19. right? And WrestleMania was in Texas. It was 38. And we were building towards that. We were building towards, Stone Cold finally returning. So finally returning and finishing this story. Kevin Owens did a really, really good job of carrying the storyline for the better part of a month. And what the WWE loves. They love their moments. They love their moments. They love building towards the moments. So we get our moment. Stone Cold Steve Austin returns and defeats Kevin Owens in a no-holds barred match. And there are other times where the story isn't over. Also from last year, Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. I'm not Undertaker. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. My apologies. And they were in this internal fight forever feud, and I just wanted it to be over. I wanted it to be done. So again, sometimes WrestleMania doesn't finish the story, but WrestleMania is so big, it's so boisterous that everybody's got to have one. Everybody's got to have one. And WrestleMania has given us, our moments. How about WrestleMania 31 when Seth Rollins cashes in the Money in the Bank briefcase, or Ronda, Becky, and sadly Charlotte Flair in the first ever women's main event? Or how about twice in a lifetime, John Cena and The Rock, or the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match. So WrestleMania has given us these great and beautiful moments that we all remember. So how about we look at some other companies as well, and into what they like, what do they bring forth, because everybody has one. So the WWE's biggest rival, we all know, is WCW. Their show is Starrcade, and Starrcade, WWE has brought that back. And Starrcade was it's WCW, NWA, and that's their WrestleMania. It's their ending of shows. The first Starrcade took place in 1983, 2 years before the first WrestleMania. And for the early parts of its infancy under the NWA Jim Crockett Promotions, Starrcade took place in Greensboro, North Carolina, at the Greensboro Coliseum, because that was the territory. We were in our territory days, and then we were out of Jim Crockett to the NWA WCW. Then we were finally to WCW, and they started getting a hold of a city that they keyed in on. So for 3 straight years, Starrcade was held at the Nashville Municipal Auditorium. And then for the last 4 years before WCW went under, Starrcade was held in Washington, D.C. at the Capital One Arena, which is the former MCI Center. And it gave us our moments, but and a lot of the main events, a lot of the cards, featured a lot of the same wrestlers: Sting, Ric Flair, Dusty, Harley Race, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage. We were just rehashing the same thing over and over and over. But you can kind of see where the WWE got their idea from, seeing as how Starrcade took place 2 years before WrestleMania. So it's a beautiful thing. New Japan Pro Wrestling, they hold Wrestle Kingdom. First Wrestle Kingdom was in 2007, and we've had a Wrestle Kingdom every year since. I think did we have one during the pandemic here? Yeah, we had one during the pandemic, and starting in 2020, Wrestle Kingdom ended up being 2 days. In 2022, Wrestle Kingdom was 3 days. Why was Wrestle Kingdom 16 3 days? I don't know. But their main events have also kind of featured the same people. Tanahashi, Suzuki, Okada, Kenny Omega. Those were the people. Occasionally we get Naito. Occasionally we get Ibushi. Sprinkle in a little Jay White. But the thing we know about Wrestle Kingdom is we are going to get some fantastic wrestling. We are going to get that strong style. We are going to get just a hard hitting affair. And even then, this year we got a first when Kairi defeated Tam Nakano to become the first ever IWGP Women's Champion, which is now held by one Mercedes Moné. But the thing I love about Wrestle Kingdom is it's both Japanese wrestlers and American wrestlers, and they know what they're doing. They know how to put on this banger of a show. Ring of Honor, they have Final Battle, and you would think, it's so funny, you would think that Final Battle not Final Battle, Supercard of Honor would be their final show, but no, it's Final Battle. Final Battle has been since 2002, with the first ever main event being a fatal four-way between Bryan Danielson, Low-Ki, Samoa Joe, and Steve Corino, kind of the godfathers of Ring of Honor. They ushered in this era, and Final Battle, Ring of Honor, kind of fits into the same vein as Wrestle Kingdom. No frills, just great matches. And with Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor, bringing us Final Battle, we bringing us Ring of Honor. We had a Final Battle this year. And it was a solid card, and I enjoyed myself, because we know we're not going to get any frills. We're just going to get solid wrestling. So you see where I'm getting at, that everybody has to have their end of the year show. We have to tell the story. You have to finish the story. Everybody has their show. I mean, we could dive into so much more. ECW, they have November to Remember. And ECW, man, we were, we was out here, hurting cats, putting people down into dirt. Put that nigga into the dirt. And you know what you were getting with ECW. You knew you were getting the Extreme. But ECW also told great stories. If we go and look at the first ever November to Remember. Let me, if I can get this low. I got way too many tabs open. The first November to Remember took place in Philly, and the main event was ECW champion Sabu and the Road Warrior Hawk versus ECW TV champion Terry Funk and King Kong Bundy for the World Championship and the Television Championship. That was the first main event. Like, let that sink in. That was the first main event. That's some wrestling history right there. And again, we get these stories, and again, you have to finish telling the story. Impact, we got Bound for Glory. You know what I mean? AEW, we have Double or Nothing. WWE, we have Wrestlemania. I can keep going. Everybody has their show. Lucha Underground had Ultimate Lucha. CMLL has their anniversary show. AAA has Triplemania. NWA had their anniversary show. MLW has Super Fight. Because you need to tell the story. You need to finish it. So now, here we are at WrestleMania 39. And you have to tell the story. You have to not only tell the story, you have to finish the story. Stop making it about moments. Because the moment is when you finish the story. And yes, some have better stories than others. From night one, Ray and Dom and the Usos versus Sami and KO, great stories. Finish it. Here's the thing. Ray and Dom, that story can be over with. That can be done. No matter who wins, who loses, you can finish the story. Whereas the Usos with Sami and KO, they're not going to finish that story there. Because there's so much to go on with the bloodline that the story will continue. It's just a check mark in the next chapter. But Edge and Finn Balor, they're going to finish the story. Because they've been going at it since late last year. They are going to finish the story. But will Cody and Roman finish the story? Or will we just get moments? These shows are necessary. Where would the NFL be if we didn't have the Super Bowl? Where would the NBA be if we didn't have the NBA championship? And in sports, we have the most beautiful two words in all sports. Listen, I know people love the Super Bowl. I know Americans don't know anything outside of football, and I'm an American. Basketball's my favorite sport. But the two best words in all of sports are Game 7. So imagine if we didn't have this build up to a best of 7 series and a Game 7. We need this. Imagine if there wasn't a Stanley Cup. Imagine if there wasn't a World Cup. We've got to be able to finish this. We've got to be able to tell the story and say, here, everything you work for, everything you strive for, everything that you've built up to, this is it. This is that, pardon the pun, this is the moment. Don't let it pass you by. WrestleMania is necessary. All of this is necessary because, again, we need to finish the story. And I'm excited. WrestleMania's a little bit of light on matches this year. We might get some more thrown in, but again, we need to finish the story. Because that's what it's about, your journey, that end goal. That's what's it all about. Tell me what you think. Will we finish the story? Do you want to finish the story? But that's our show. Thank you all for listening, for watching. I know this was an abbreviated show, but listen, I'm getting ready for WrestleMania. I already watched Supercard of Honor last night. I even peeked in on Stand and Deliver. And speaking of Stand and Deliver, next week's show we will have our NXT resets. Our NXT reset. So, check out the socials, Charismatic Creatures on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creatures52 on Instagram and on Twitter, the 215. The Patreon will be going live on Monday. I can't wait. But for now, Xia Li, Shotzi Blackheart, Wendy Chu Bailey, and Gigi Dolan, holla at your boy. Peace.